Yet, as the years pass, we realize that the Bermuda Triangle is more than just a geographical area. It is a phenomenon, a presence, a constant in the history of human exploration. No other place on the planet has generated so many unexplained disappearances, so many contradictory reports, so many theories. Even the most rational science is sometimes forced to admit that what happens there does not follow the same behavior as the rest of the Atlantic Ocean. In the 1960s, for example, a group of American oceanographers recorded a magnetic anomaly so intense that it shifted their measuring instruments several degrees. The exact area of the survey coincided with the heart of the triangle. That anomaly recurred repeatedly, erratically, as if an invisible force were pulsating from the seabed. The equipment continued to behave erratically even after the survey ended, and some researchers spoke of a temporary electromagnetic disturbance, while others hypothesized the presence of something much older, an extremely rare natural phenomenon, or perhaps a technology not of our time. The stories of the survivors, few but existing, add even more unease. Some pilots describe finding themselves suddenly immersed in a dense, luminous fog that reduced visibility to zero, as if the outside world had vanished. Some speak of metallic sounds coming from the water, as if something gigantic was moving beneath the surface, following the plane. Still others report seeing enormous shadows moving on the seabed, shapes unlike any known animal. In 1881, the British Navy reported sighting a ghost ship, the Ellen Austin. The crew found it adrift, intact but empty. When they decided to tow it, it disappeared in a sudden fog. It reappeared days later in another part of the ocean, once again completely empty. The men chosen to board it were never found again. The Ellen Austin remains one of the most disturbing cases in maritime history and one of the most studied among triangle enthusiasts. Then there are the stories of local fishermen, those who have lived in those waters for generations. They say that at night they often see columns of light rising from the sea toward the sky, as if the ocean itself were emitting a glow. Some speak of green flashes moving beneath the surface, too fast to be underwater, too deep to be mere reflections of the moon. Others swear they've seen ancient symbols appear on the surface of the water for a few seconds, as if something wanted to communicate through the sea itself. Another fascinating case is that of the Cyclops, a gigantic American supply ship that disappeared in 1918 with 309 people aboard. It was nearly 170 meters long, heavy, and difficult to sink. Yet it vanished without sending a distress signal, without a storm, for no apparent reason. Over a century later, not a single piece of its hull has been found. No wreckage, no clues, nothing. A ship that size couldn't simply vanish. Yet it did, in the heart of the triangle. Some modern scientists have attempted to investigate the hypothesis of density vacuums caused by methane. In theory, enormous quantities of gas can rise from the seabed and transform the water into an unstable mass, causing even very large ships to sink. But there are two problems. First, no recent detection has confirmed such a phenomenon powerful enough to explain the disappearance of aircraft. Second, even if a ship sank that rapidly, some debris would surface. In the triangle, however, nothing ever surfaces. Those studying quantum physics have added an even more fascinating theory, that of microspacetime anomalies. Some researchers hypothesize that in particular regions of the planet, there may exist points where space and time are not stable. If microtime wormholes, even tiny ones, truly exist, they could distort airplane trajectories or move objects for brief periods. Fascinating theories, certainly, but they stray to the edge between science and science fiction. But perhaps the most disturbing theory is the one suggested by several declassified Pentagon documents in recent years. More than one report details sightings of unidentified objects emerging and disappearing from the water near the Bahamas. These aren't just UFOs, but USOs, unidentified underwater objects, equipped with technology capable of moving between water and air at speeds beyond our comprehension. Some experts believe these presences can interfere with onboard systems, radar, and communications. If true, it would mean someone, or something, has been controlling that area for much longer than we can imagine. But the triangle isn't just a physical mystery. There's also a human, psychological, and cultural mystery. Why that particular stretch of sea? Why do so many stories resemble each other? Why do witnesses from distant times describe identical phenomena? Is it possible that the triangle isn't just a place, but a symbol? A catalyst for fears, legends, and hidden truths? Ultimately, the Bermuda Triangle remains an open enigma. A boundary between what we know and what we still don't understand. Perhaps one day science will provide all the answers. Perhaps we'll discover that there's a logical explanation behind every disappearance. Or perhaps not. Perhaps there are places on Earth that aren't meant to be explained. Places that guard secrets too great. Places where the sea seems alive, present, attentive. And sometimes, hungry. Until we have answers, the triangle will live on in our imaginations. It will continue to tell us stories of men and women who never returned, of lights in the sky, of ghost ships, of planes that vanish, and of an ocean that seems to whisper, "There are no rules here." And every time someone crosses those waters, they do so with a thought that, even if unspoken, lives deep within anyone who ventures there: what if I were the next one not to return? And perhaps the most surprising thing about the Bermuda Triangle is that despite all the modern technology, despite satellites, sonar, underwater drones, and advanced mathematical models, we still don't truly understand what's going on there. Every time science seems to get closer to a definitive explanation, a new case reopens the issue. A new disappearance, a new interrupted radar signal, a new unexplained signal coming from the depths of the Atlantic. It's as if the triangle decides when to reveal itself and when to hide, when to offer clues and when to strip away all certainty. Many oceanographers, studying the seabed in that region, have noticed the shape of the ocean shelf changing suddenly, as if enormous masses of rock were shifting over time. Some hypothesize that there are gigantic cavities beneath the surface, unknown subterranean chambers capable of generating vibrations and resonant phenomena that interfere with onboard systems. But every time an expedition attempts to map the area, the instruments jam, overload, or display inconsistent data. This behavior is unseen elsewhere, and many researchers call it the triangle paradox. The most monitored of the ocean regions is also the most difficult to measure. There are also accounts of those who, flying over the area at sunset, have felt a strange sensation of compression, as if the air suddenly became heavier, denser, harder to breathe. Some pilots describe the sensation of being watched, not by a human eye, but by something ancient and present. Is it just a fantasy? Perhaps. But why does it always happen there, always in the same stretch of ocean, always with the same dynamics? In recent years, several electromagnetic anomalies recorded by independent researchers have reignited the debate. Pulsing signals emanating from the ocean floor, at regular intervals that correspond to no known geological activity. They aren't earthquakes, eruptions, or landslides. They are pulses, like heartbeats. Slowly, rhythmically, as if the ocean floor itself were breathing. Some hypothesize they are the result of unique tectonic movements, others speak of as yet undiscovered submerged structures, perhaps ancient remnants of lost civilizations interacting with the Earth's magnetic field. It's a controversial theory, of course, but not completely ruled out. And then there are those who believe the triangle isn't a cursed place, but a boundary. A crossroads where dimensions collide, where the planet's energy is concentrated, where the sea, the sky, and what lies beyond meet for brief moments. Perhaps those moments aren't dangerous in themselves, but if a plane or ship enters it at that very moment, it could find itself in a state where the laws of physics cease to function as they should. Maybe it's not a trap. Maybe it's just a door. Ultimately, the Bermuda Triangle remains a mirror. A mirror that reflects everything we don't understand about the universe, its invisible rules, its hidden dimensions, its ability to simultaneously surprise and frighten us. It's a place that continues to challenge our rationality, reminding us that, no matter how advanced our technology, the world remains immensely larger and more mysterious than we imagine. And as we continue to approach with more powerful ships, safer aircraft, and more precise instruments, the triangle continues to silently observe us. Because perhaps it's not important to discover what's really down there. Perhaps the real mystery is understanding why we persist in searching for it. And who knows? Maybe one day, when we're ready, the Bermuda Triangle will stop hiding. Or maybe not. Maybe it will continue to guard its secrets forever, like an ancient guardian watching over the ocean, reminding us that there are places that don't belong to us. Places that accept us, only when they choose.